Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to talk about modules and packages. In programming, a module is a piece of a software that has a special functionality. For example, we were building a bunch of application in the before, but in the upcoming lecture we'll be building some games, and in that games there will be the some module which would be responsible for the game logics, and another piece of a module would be responsible for drawing the game on the screen. So each modules in the different file which can be edited, and they can be edited separately. So that is the important of a module. So you have a different file, and in that different file you just have a different code, and you can separately, differently, or you can just independently change or basically differ your code based on another module. So you are just isolated from each of these modules, and each of these modules perform a different functionality for your application. So let's talk about this module at first. So there are actually three different ways to define the module in a Python, and first one is the module can be written in the Python itself, and we'll see the example of how the module can be written in the Python in an example in the next minute. But the module can also be written in the C, and it can also be dynamically loaded at the runtime, like we have a regular expression module, and we have a built-in module is intrinsically contained in the interpreter like the iter tool modules, and we have a bunch of modules like random modules, and all of that modules can be just utilized, and basically they are the module that is to be used for any application. So we'll see all of that in this lecture. So first of all, what I want to make is the folder in the desktop. So let's make a module and basically see how this module and packages is working with the help of a Python. So before really going into the coding, I want to make you just create a new folder which would be modules. So let me just create that is modules over here, and inside this module what you need to go is first of all open your IDE, and now create your new script. And first of all, I want to make something that is the file over here, and that is going to just draw the game for us. So let's make that. And now first of all you have to just save, and that should be saved as, let me say, draw.py. that is our Python file extension. And if you wonder here, so we have just made use of this py file. So make sure that first you just save this in this module folder that you have just made, and basically it is in my case in the desktop, so I'm just storing in this modules folder. So if you wonder what this draw.py, then py is basically your Python extension. So any name that is basically before this .py extension is your module name. So draw is our module name here. So module name is always the file name before your .py extension. So let's save this draw.py file, which will be responsible for drawing game and clearing the screen for us. So first of all, let me say draw.py, which is our Python file over here, and let me just define one method over here which would be draw game, and it is just going to draw game. So for now it is obviously the pass, and now next is to clear the screen. So this is to clear the game score screen. So it is also responsible for clearing the game console. So let me just put a pass for now, and let's save this code and just close this module. So if you just go back to our module folder, then you could see draw.py. So you can't see here the p.py extension. That means your module name here is draw. So let's get back to our IDE and create one more that is module, and that should be saved something like, let me say now game. So let me just say game.py. obviously the game would be our module here, and .py is the extension, and let me save this to the same folder where we have saved this draw in this module folder. So let me save that down, and now first thing what you need to do is import. So we'll say import in order to utilize everything that is within that game, basically our in this module, which is in this case, let me just open this draw first, open with this IDE. Then you could see we can make use of this method, which is in this case draw game and clear screen in this game.py file. So in order to make use, we have to make use of this import statement. So we have made use of this import from the very beginning of our lecture, that was importing this random module and making using of this randint method or choice method or any other method of this random or math module even, and we made use using this dot operator or a period. So it can be done on the same way, that is, we just make import of this draw module, which is basically the name should be exactly the same over here, which is draw. Now in order to just define, let me just define some of the method of here, which is basically its own local method, and let me just say play game. And now let me just define another function which would be main function, and now it's time to just say result, and I'll just say play game. If you see here, play game is its own local function over here, and now it's time to just make use of this draw over here, which is our module which was created right here containing this draw game and clear screen. Now we can make utilize of this draw game and clear screen using this draw module. So first of all, you just type a module name, that is draw, and previously we had made use of this random module, and in the case of random we have made use like a random dot. So same as before, we make use of this dot operator and provide the name of that function that is inside this draw module. So that is basically our draw game method. So if you see here, you can get this draw game method and you can just pass any argument if you have, and basically this means that if the script is executed, we'll just create the new main method. So let me just go here and let me just call this main. So main can be called as usual, I'll say name equal main, and it should be inside this name equal main. And if it is name equal main, let me just give a quick tab here, and it is our that is game module. So in here we made use of this draw name, which is basically the method that was created in the case of this draw.py. So in order to import this draw game module, what you need to do is we have to just import this draw module, which was this module, and we can make use of the method inside this draw module using just the dot operator like we normally do in the case of random, which is inbuilt module in the case of this Python. So now we can make use of choice. So if I just say choice, I can make a use, but basically you have to pass a sequence and you have to pass the pass length, which is basically the length or basically the value of k here, and based on that it will basically provides you a random choice of this k length. So this is our random module, and this is our user defined module, which is draw module over here, and we have used that draw module within this game.py file. Now it's time to see different technique in order to import this different functionality of the draw.py inside this game.py. So let me just give you a quick overview here. So first would be using this from keyword or from command. So I'll just say from, which is basically giving you a direction from where the method should be just imported. So I'll say from draw. That means it will just search with this statement for this draw.py in the same directory. That means if I just say that is this draw is removed from the directory to the desktop, that means it is not going to work. So first of all, it should be inside the same directory, that is inside this same folder over here, and it will just search for this draw inside the same functionality or the same module or the same folder, and I'll just say import me draw game. So that means you are just importing draw game and you are not importing any other functions of this draw. So let's go back here, and you have clear screen and a draw game, but you are just importing draw game from here. So that means you can't use now clear screen over here. So this can't be used because you are not importing this clear screen from this draw module. What you need to use is only the draw game. So you can use only the draw game instead of this clear screen, and this is okay over here because you are just importing the draw game and you are making use of only this draw game inside this main of this game.py. So in order to import everything from this draw.py instead of just a draw game, what you need to do is simply put the asterisk over here. So simple asterisk or a normal one asterisk is to import everything. Now you can make use of a draw game. Now you can make use of a clear screen, which is obviously defined in our draw.py. Now it is okay because you are importing everything that is with this asterisk from this draw command. And we can also import an entire module using the alternative name. So what if I say import me, that is the module name over here. So module name would be obviously the draw module. So I'll just say import the draw module is, and I'll just give D. That means now in this game.py you can't make use of this draw, instead you can make use of this D. So you are giving this module name an alternative name using this as command. So as command is for aliasing. That means you are just renaming this draw module temporarily in this game.py with this D. You can just give any name over here, so you can just reference this name, or you can give any name over here. So let me say EE, and you can just reference this as EE and EE. So you can just alias using this as keyword in order to import an entire module under this alternative name, which is in this case EE. So this is all about the Python module. So let's talk about the Python packages now. Suppose you have developed a very large application that includes many modules, and as the number of modules grows, it becomes difficult to track all of them inside the same location and inside the one location. So basically you create the folder or packages in that case. So this is particularly so if they have the similar name or a functionality, you might wish for the name of a grouping and organizing them. So packages allows for a hierarchical structuring of the module namespace using the dot notation. In the same way, the module help avoiding collision between the global variable names, and packages help avoid collision between the module name. So what I really mean is you just have to create the module or a package name over here. So if you say this is with the package name, so let me say it is package, and if it is the package, then you can have the multiple module or a file, Python file inside this same package. So let me say it is module 1, and it is module 2, and it is module 3. So it is same as saying you have something that is a folder. So inside this folder, which is obviously the package, you have a multiple file which is Python file like this game.py. You have something like a m1, m2, m3. So you have m1, m2, m3, which is a file. So in order to reference that file, you can do similar like this, but instead what you can use is we have to just import this like this way. So first of all, what you need to do is you have to just reference your package. So in order to reference your package, I have to just import from the module name, that is import first, that is package, which would be the same for all of these modules, which is basically pkg, and also say module 1, and from that module import package, which is obviously the module 2. So I'll just say mod2. So if you see here, this is the package, which is basically the folder containing all of this module. So module 1 is imported and module 2 is also imported. So basically module 1 is, module 2 is same as saying game.py. It is module 1.py, module 2.py. So we're just importing modules because we have a multiple modules to be stored in the same package, so that it cannot be just collide between the global variable names. So basically packages has helped us to avoid the collision between the module name. So if you see here, if you have the multiple module stored in the same package, that means you can reference using this package which is the same name, and basically you can reference each of these using this dot operator over here. So you can see here it helps us to just avoid the collision between the different module name, and basically it is just organized organizing the different module inside this one folder or one packages over here. So next thing what you can do here is basically the condition. So let me just import, that is next way, that could be the package name. So you should give the package name, which is in this case pkg. So I'll just say package name, and from that we have to just import, and it should be not import, it should be from, like here we have done before. It should be from this package name. In this case it should be like pkg, which is here, and from this package we have to just import something like mode 1 or mode 2, which is basically our module. So I'll just say mode 1, mode 2 and mode 3, which is our module. So you can also import like this. You can import like this, which is using the dot operator between these packages and the module. And you can also import like this, where you just specify the package name, and from that package name you just import this module. And this is another way to import the module in your packages and reference to these packages, so that you can just make utilize of all this the code within this file or within the same main file. So this will be the wrap for this video. In order to see or get knowledge about the modules and packages, furthermore we'll just implement some of the logic, and we'll just implement a different file in the case of our different game, where we'll create the different package and we'll also create the different module in order to handle our game logic and a presentation logic. So I hope you'll just get a good grasp in those lecture. Now it is just a quick reference how these modules and packages work in the case of a Python. See you in the next one.